All right, the last Ravens outside linebacker slash edge player that I want to talk about and kind of preview and show some film of is the one who's probably has the most potential, but there's the least film of. David Ojabo showed incredible promise from his college film at Michigan. The 1 year that he played a significant amount of snaps per game, showed really exciting traits. The first of which is his propensity to force fumbles on pass rushes or even run plays. I mean, I'm thinking of a couple of plays I remember. One against Michigan State, he forced a fumble on a run play at him. Pass rushes around the edge, forcing fumbles. It looked like something that he just did. And then, for only playing 21 snaps or maybe 23 snaps overall in 2022 as a rookie, he forced a fumble against Joe Burrow. Granted, it was, kind of like an LT swat or punch down from behind where Burrow didn't necessarily have awareness that he was there. But that just seems to be what he does. On his first career sack, forces a fumble by Joe Burrow. I think that's pretty significant, or at least worth mentioning. Let's put it that way. We'll let the film run through a couple of times each, to be honest with you. And look, I think Ojabo's got the most potential in terms of sacks for next season of the three guys that we're talking about today: Bowser, Oweh, Ojabo. He's incredibly explosive. He's got great get off. But I did not think after watching this film again, this Week 18 film, to be honest with you, I did not think he was tremendously impressive compared to the other three guys that the Ravens had on the roster who played a lot of snaps. I'm talking about Justin Houston, Bowser, and JPP, and Oweh, I should say. It actually was four. Those four guys were just better. Looking at his get-off here in this game, I wasn't tremendously impressed. He only played 2 snaps in the playoff game, and I think it was rightfully so. He did have the strip sack, huge play, but comparing him to those other 4 guys, he didn't look nearly as smooth and athletic as he did at Michigan, for me at least. And, am I down on David Ojabo? Do I not think highly of him? Of course not. I think the guy's got tremendous potential. But his pass rush moves seemed a little bit out of sync. You do see the athleticism in some of these moves. It makes sense to me why he was inactive for 5 weeks in a row at one point during the season. I don't think he looked completely ready in Week 18. I mean, he had the huge moment, like I said. I don't think he looked totally comfortable. Let me phrase it that way. Did he look bad in this game? No. Am I doubting Ojabo and his ability? Not at all. There's just not a lot of NFL film to support a 10 or a 12 sack per season projection, at least as it stands right now. The college film exists to show you that he has a crap ton of potential. And in minicamp, he's looked tremendous. Even the little video snippets that we get on Twitter or wherever else, he looks great in drills. And all of the reports coming out is about how great he looks and how well he's done, even against the Ravens' starting offensive tackles. He's 6'5", he's explosive. He forces fumbles so regularly. Like I said, in just 23 snaps last year, he forced a fumble against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. It reminds me, I think I've said this in a video before, it reminds me of something that Ivan Drago's manager said during Rocky IV. During like a promo leading up to his fight with Rocky about Drago, he said, whatever he hits, he destroys. Ojabo, I almost called him Odrago. Ojabo seems like that to me in terms of when he hits people, the ball comes out. Look at the college film. I think I had 6 games of his from his last year at Michigan, which is really the only year that he started and played a whole lot. He forces fumbles a lot. He's just got a propensity for doing so. Look, I think the group of Oweh, Bowser, and Ojabo is a good one. I'm not as negative about our outside linebacker group as many other people are. The plays are scrolling back through now. This is going to be the strip sack against Burrow. I'm not down on that group at all. I think that the Ravens will be fine with those 3 and some other 4th player. But again, I'm going to advocate for re-signing Justin Houston. You guys have already heard me talk about it. He would complete this group in terms of the role perspective. Bowser, Oweh are really solid at well, Bowser's really solid at everything. Justin Houston's really good against the run as well. Don't get me wrong, but he's just a pass rushing genius. Him and Ojabo being the guys to rush off the edge in obvious passing situations. Let Bowser, Owe kick inside if need be, along with Robinson or whoever else the Ravens let, Travis Jones, rush the passer, in some of those situations. I think Justin Houston provides depth and security for Mike Macdonald's defense. If Ojabo struggles against a particular type of player, Houston could get more reps that week. If Houston needs to rest, and in a 17 game, I don't think a 17 game regular season in football is only adding one more game from 16. And of course it is mathematically, but to me, the game of football, the way that extending the regular season out one more week, one more competitive week, I think really calls into question whether teams should start strategically resting players 1 or 2 weeks in the season. God forbid they ever go to an 18-game regular season. At some point, there has to be a moment when teams talk about it, right? Or at least they consider it in their meetings. And with a guy like Justin Houston, for me, I think a 17-game regular season is not realistic. I would not want him to play 17 games. Now, in his contract negotiations, if he does come back to the Ravens or if he does come back at all this year, he may want to play 17 games. He may want to. But with the depth the Ravens have, it may make sense to rest someone like him 1 or 2 games strategically during the season, particularly, in Week 18. Getting back to Ojabo, since he's healthy and playing with no hesitation, he's already a different player than you're seeing in this film. He played 20 snaps in this game against the Bengals. I did not think that everything was in sync. Against the run, you can see the strength. You can see the ability to move people. The next play isn't as impressive. I feel like watching this film, he wasn't finishing plays with amazing force. It doesn't mean that he's lazy. That's not what I'm saying. It just didn't seem to me that he was finishing. Well, he hadn't played a whole lot of live football up to this point. He was inactive for 5 weeks, played 1 snap, inactive for 1 week, and then I think played this game in Week 18. Showed a lot of potential. We were all excited, as well we should have been. I'm gonna discontinue spot shadowing here. If the 3 guys that we talked about in this video, Houston, can be bolstered by Justin Houston, I should say, I could see a group effort in terms of the sacks. And that's not what a lot of people, Ravens fans, are going to want to hear. I'm not comfortable projecting 8, 10, 12 sacks out of Ojabo if the Ravens sign Justin Houston. Because what I mean by saying that specifically is there's going to be a lot of guys who get reps. There's going to be a lot of guys who get on the field. And if there is a specific matchup or a snap count limitation for a particular week, maybe a guy's got an ankle injury but is able to go at 90% or 85%. Or maybe there's a matchup that they want to preserve on 3rd down. Justin Houston against a particular right guard. Or David Ojabo against a particular left tackle. Strategic rest, which I kind of mentioned earlier or briefly explained. The score of the game as well impacts how many sacks guys can get. The Ravens are in the lead often, you're going to get more pass plays. The Ravens are losing and have to come back and win often, maybe they're going to get more run plays defensively and limit the opportunities you would have as an individual pass rusher. To me, with those 4 guys, I guess I'm kind of counting my chickens before they hatch in terms of Justin Houston. With those 4 guys around, I could see a situation where all 4 of them end up with between 5 and 8 sacks apiece. Maybe one guy has 9 or 10 or even 11, something like that. To me, Ojabo or Justin Houston would be the guys that I would say would be on the higher end of the projection, just because of the athleticism, the length, the explosiveness of Ojabo, and then the body of work that Justin Houston has shown you, including last year, the 3-week stretch where I believe he had 6.5 sacks in a 3-week stretch. Or maybe it was 7.5 sacks in a 4-week stretch. I should have researched my numbers somewhere. I did find that for a previous video. I'm extremely impressed with the film coming out of Ojabo, and all the reports tell you that the guy is ready to go. You can see him in the drills, the little drills that we get to see on Twitter or YouTube or whatever. By the way the Ravens wired was amazing. Don't normally watch that during the season because I don't always have time, but someone in the Discord sent a link this week and linked it up, said, hey, check this out. It was incredible. If you haven't watched the Ravens Wired episode from after mandatory minicamp. You should. I think it was pretty unbelievable piece of work. But in any case, look, these three guys, I think, is a great trio. Besides the fact that it's a really cool graphic that again was provided to me by a friend. These three guys they got a lot of potential. I think adding Justin Houston is a necessity because of the 17-game season, because of the way Tyus Bowser is used in coverage so often. If you only had these three guys and then a Robinson, the rookie, and that was it in terms of your edge players, your guys on the outside, I'm not sure that you have enough pieces there to do everything that Mike Macdonald likes to do. Now, other people are going to say it a different way. They're going to say these three guys aren't going to produce enough sacks. It's about more than sacks. For me, it's about the totality of what Mike Macdonald and the defensive staff, which is an amazing defensive staff, by the way, it's about the totality of what they're going to try to do with their stunts, with their blitzes, with their coverages, who they're dropping in coverage. It appears to me as if Tyus Bowser at the end of 2022 looked like himself again, the guy that I thought was playing at an extremely high level his last 4 or 5 games in 2021. Always got to be more consistent. There is no doubt. Ojabo just needs opportunities, and those opportunities will either force him to cash in on them, make plays, make sacks, force fumbles, or give him things he needs to improve on. To me, Justin Houston being there at minimum as a guy who can play 20 snaps a game in pass rush situations just makes the most sense out of everything. I'm sure that there are people who will agree with that, but maybe agree for different reasons because they don't think these three guys are capable of producing enough sacks to have a balanced defense. I think they are, because the system that the Ravens are going to use, while not being a Wink Martindale crazy blitz, stunts, crossover stunts defense, is Mike Macdonald's defense is going to produce sacks, in my opinion. He's going to. It's a more conservative defense with too high shell, often playing quarters coverages, switching up coverages, particularly in the games that you saw against the Bengals Week 18 and the wild card loss, 24-17. The Ravens switched up coverages brilliantly against Joe Burrow, while still maintaining, consistent pressure against Burrow. I think they can do that with these three guys, but it just makes the most sense for me to bring back Justin Houston, have him be the pass rush guru, along with Chuck Smith, obviously, who I think is a drastic improvement over what we had last year. Just like the inside linebacker coaching position was improved last year by getting rid of Rob Ryan. I think the outside linebacker position will be improved by bringing in Chuck Smith, who's universally recognized as a guy who can get the best out of people. I think this group is going to be far better than a lot of people presume. If it was me, I would address corner from a front office standpoint and Justin Houston for the 25th time in this video. Those would be the two things that I would want to see addressed. How much cap room is out there for the Ravens to do so is the first question, I guess. And then the second question is, does it make more sense to wait until during the season to try to address one of those two positions? The Ravens may not even have the cap space to address both of them at all prior to the season starting or prior to training camp starting. You guys let me know what you think of those thoughts and the video. If you sat here through the whole Saturday live, I appreciate it. I pre-recorded this and then posted it up or uploaded it for people to enjoy. I certainly love talking about the Ravens outside linebackers. All three of these guys are unique and different. Ojabo and Owe appear to share certain characteristics. Of course, they played high school together. They're the same height, just about the same weight, I think 255 or so. But I think they're different guys and they have different strengths. And then Bowser brings the element of a jack of all trades and a master of at least one thing, which is pass drops. I appreciate you guys' time. If you enjoy this video, please let me know in the comment section. If you've ever considered joining the Discord, we have a pretty active Discord where people talk about players, talk about plays, talk about concepts. Instead of complaining, we all try to work toward understanding certain things more. And I will tell you, the Discord and the group of people that's in there, I think it's like 70 people in there at this point, they help me create content. They really help push me in certain directions to try to create content. And they also help with some of my audio, some of my evaluation, and point out things that maybe I missed. So in any case, I want to thank those guys and gals who have joined the Discord through my Patreon, and then ask you if you'd be interested in joining to please click the link in the description here for my Patreon. Check it out, see if it's something that interests you. If you think other people might enjoy this video, please consider grabbing a link and sharing it out on social media to help this live stream get more reach.